everybody. Welcome to Let's Learn. I'm your Excel instructor. Today we are going to cover user-defined functions. Guys, user-defined functions, it is amazing, powerful, code which we are going to write today. And what is this user-defined function? Actually, this is nothing but tailored or customized function which actually works exactly same as VLOOKUP or other functions available in our Excel. So let's see and understand what is user-defined function. User-defined functions are customized functions which are tailored to the requirement. And there is, of course, no dearth of Excel functions in our, Excel. But sometimes we need to get, some output to the business requirement. And if we exactly use the same keyword, like if we have to create VLOOKUP or exactly same name we are giving in our function. So guys, it will not work. It will give the preference to the existing inbuilt function already. So now why we should give the same name? We can use v underscore lookup. So it will be easy for us to recognize which function belongs to us. So guys, this is actually the session. Let's attempt to cover as much as possible in our user defined functions. And as I already told, this is customized functions. And to understand this, we have to, refresh our kind of VBA things again. Let me jump to my another code, which is called VBA is missing function. Guys, this function is listed under the information category of VBA function. And you can see this example where some if you know VLOOKUP. So in VLOOKUP, the last value, which actually tells you some optional value. Like let me show you that example also. So first you see everything. Let me show you that how you can actually achieve those things. If I write some function, let me substitute function. So in this function you can see that how you can make out which one is optional. In this argument you can see there are four things which to be given by the user: text, old text, new text, and instance number, guys. So instance number, it's in square bracket, so it means it is optional, though it is not mentioned here, but they are inbuilt function, and this is how this function knows that whether you give instance number or not, it knows it is optional. So guys, the same thing, if you know VLOOKUP, of course it is very much known to everybody. Lookup value, what actually you're looking for, table array, in which table you are looking for, column index number, which column, suppose your range has 5 columns or 7 columns, which column you want to retrieve. And next is range lookup. So that range lookup, if you, it is up to you. Suppose I'm searching ABC and this is my range, I'm just putting dummy range, guys, and I'll tell you that belongs to true false. And now I want now I want only in this column, I want to see whether this value exists or not, because the column is same. I want to check. Now it has given me two options over there: true and false, exact match. Guys, you have to understand this is actually optional. All right, whether you give it or not, but it actually impacts the result. So now if I tell you a little bit about that before I get into that, suppose these are my people, you can see that, and these are the scores of my team members, or maybe you can say just other way around, remove that. Let me just check this way, maybe it can help you understand better. If you apply VLOOKUP, so suppose you're searching 125 value. All right, you're searching in this array. All right, now which column? Of course, second column. Now if you give a 0 means exact match. So now you see the result. So what you're searching, 125, of course, third value. All right, so now if you just give 1, what value you are getting, guys? Again you are getting 1, because that number is already there. All right, if you don't give that number, you are again getting 3. But if you write over there, maybe if you write over there 1 120, and here you can write 122, here you can write 127, here you can write 129, 136, over here 167. Now you see you're searching 125. Guys, understand the overall thing. 125. Let me run it again. VLOOKUP. Why I'm telling you this function, you will connect now soon. 125. I'm searching in this table, and now, of course, second index. Now, if you want approximate match, if you want false, so you can just see that. You can see some result. You can see, exact match is not available there. It is getting error. But guys, if you don't give, it is getting error. Now you understand in this VLOOKUP. So I want to tell you that by default, in Excel VLOOKUP, it is approximate match. If you just give this value, it is approximate match. 125, it is giving 2 approximate match. See, if you look at this, of course, if you see that, kind of series like 120 to 121 will get this much, and then 122 and below 127 will come under this category. So now you see we have not given the optional, and it has taken by default 1. So what is 1? You can see approximate match. So in VLOOKUP, by default option value is 1, which is approximate match. All right, now you see that this is kind of things. If you give that value, exact match gives an error. So these are the basics, guys. You have to understand. See, it is up to you. You want to complete the formula or not. So now let me erase this and come back to my, this function. So let me tell you something about this. The first line of code starts with the word function. All right. So now let me show you something. Let me go back to my developer, or else you can click on Alt F11. Alt F11 show us the VB editor. Here you can go to insert and module, guys. So we are in module 1. So as I mentioned, the way you are searching VLOOKUP, all right, the way you are searching VLOOKUP, you can see all the arguments. The way you are searching, suppose mid function, you have all the argument. As I mentioned, this entire thing, which is you can just shift this somewhere else if your formula is bigger or something. If this is hiding your, kind of cell, so you just, see that 4 arrows. You click this and move it anywhere, wherever you want. So now let me show you some other example. If I write my UDF, UDF stands for user defined functions, guys. Again, UDF stands for user defined functions, which is customized functions which are tailored to the business requirement. Now I'll show you some examples. Suppose I'm putting one x y z 1. So this is my function name. So if you go there, if you type x y z, guys, you can see the function is visible here. All right. So, but you cannot type just VLOOKUP or something. If you write VLOOKUP, you can, why you are writing VLOOKUP, first thing you have to understand. So you can see that equal to VLOOKUP, VLOOK. So now which function? See, this is the original function VLOOKUP. You can see the argument. But if you use the second one, all right, you see the difference. Okay, small one and everything. It actually giving the preference on the first only. So now you understand. If you write VLOOKUP 1, so again you can see that VLOOKUP 1, guys, it doesn't have the argument. All right, so this is your function. So you know that you have to give such kind of a name which you can distinguish from the original name. So better you use underscore keyword, which actually segregate the word. And this is amazing, which can help you explore more on that. So let me get you another point. The first line of the code starts with the word function. Of course, we have done that. You cannot give your function same name which is already existing. If we do this, Excel will give the preference to the inbuilt function. All right. So this is one of the best functions in VBA. Guys, let me tell you something. The people who are working, with VBA or other applications, see, everybody has to upgrade themselves. There are lots of functions, keep on coming, or getting introduced by Microsoft, you know in Microsoft team, in Excel, on almost every new, when they launch a new Excel, every second year or third year, you can see that we got 2003, 2007, 2010, 2013, 16, 19, and these are the versions available in Excel. So second version of course will come. See 16, after that 19. So there is a 3 years gap. So 19 means, if you look for 19, so it will be in 2020. Okay, so 2020 you will get another function 16, 19. So maybe it will be in 2021 or 2022. Let's see. So it is up to them when they want to launch. All right, but generally 3, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, and 21. Okay, or 22 it will come. So now guys, there are lots of functions available in Excel, and this is one of the best functions I just want to cover today, where optional value plays very important role in your function, guys. All right, let me show you some example. Okay, so find one small example I can get you. Suppose I'm writing something over there. All right. So guys, understand in Excel, we don't have any function which can extract the numeric values. So you have to use, nested if, you have to use, large function, index function. You have to loop through all the characters. Without mid function, it is not possible. Okay, see, you have to use mid function. How you can use, let me show you some example. I think in my last video, you have seen that how did I extract the numbers. There was a big function. It is not easy always to get into such functions. Why we are writing big functions, guys? But yes, you should know everything. But when we have option, we can use that also. You see, there are two things. If VBA you know, then you can write VBA function. If you know in Excel, of course you write Excel functions. Both are amazing, but VBA, it is amazing, very much easier, guys. So that's why VBA plays very important role, where your coding goes easier. So let me take you this example and you can compare. In Excel we have written long formula, but in VBA it's a matter of just 5-6 line of code. You see the difference now. Why VBA comes in picture? Because it really helps people, it really saves time, so that you can accommodate the time by getting into other productive tasks. Let me get you one more example. Let me write some more keyword. I'm just writing randomly some values, guys. So I have to create a function where I can pass this value and get me all the numbers. For example, I want 456, and over here I want 983 894 894. Whatever, if I have the number over there also, it should give me this result. All right, or if I have some number over there, or maybe some number over there, so 2456, it should give me uh, this result. I hope you understood the question. So let's get started, guys. So first thing, let me tell you something. I hope you are practicing the functions, coding, which we have covered already. You have to master those things. Otherwise, it will be little difficult for you to catch the, grasp of the code. Now let me get you into this. So guys, let me rename that something sensible, or some good name we have to put over there. So function and then get underscore number. All right, so this is my function. We know, get number function does not exist in Excel. So we have given this name so that we can distinguish easily this keyword. Get number is our function, my function, your function. All right, so now in get number, what actually I want to pass. See, what you can see here, this is actually string, alphanumeric strings. Okay, so you can use that, cell ref as, you can say that string. All right, guys. So you can use this. Now again, as I told you, if you have to extract the numbers, guys, understand, we have to loop through all the character, all the alphabet, all the characters, all the numbers, and then we have to ask everybody, are you number, are you text, kind of, then we can store it in a box. So now let me tell you how we can execute this. So once you pass this function, of course this is the user input, where you will write this function equal to get. So once you type get, this you have to pass this value. So once you have passed this value, enter this. Now it is getting a 0. But if I just tell you that msg box, so now you can write cell ref. So guys, if I put my breakpoint there, you can see this is the breakpoint. Just click this. Otherwise, you right click over there, you can see breakpoint somewhere. All right. Or you can just click this, it will come this way. I hope it is clear to you. So 1 minute. You can go to insert, you can go to view. Guys, you can actually explore. There are lots of things. Immediate window is there, watch window is there, So if you remove this, you can just see that. You just put your cursor over there and you can actually explore this way. File, what is there in file? I'll cover these things, and you can see that debug, you toggle breakpoint. So you can see that, guys. Okay, see, you have to go here. Where is my option? Why run comes breakpoint, over there and everywhere. All right, toggle breakpoint, clear all breakpoint. If you have breakpoint here, you want to clear everything, you can clear everything by yourself. You go there, clear all breakpoint, it clears everything. So these are the barriers we are putting, that once we run the code, it will just stop there. All right, you can just right click over there, or sorry, you can just click left click over there. Okay, so now you just see that if you double click, we have passed the value, enter this. So you can see that this is the value which we have stored on self ref. Okay, so now understand this, how we can execute this. So we have to loop through all the characters. Now you can write uh, dim I as integer. And one more thing, you want to store some result or some data which you have to loop through every time on the result variable, result, give result as string. Guys, you can do that. So now what you can do, maybe another variable, dim string string length as integer. So now understand why we have defined all the variables. See guys, what is the output we'll get? All right. So what will be the output? So that what is the length? Because we are running or looping through all the characters. So we have to find out the length of this. So that's why it has come. If we have to run the loop, of course we have to write for loop for I equal to 1 to 10. Of course, the length of this, and that result or output we have to store somewhere. Correct? That is my variable. So now understand, if I write for I equal to 1 to string length. So next I, as I mentioned already, if you write any function or for loop, that has to be closed with next, which we have done. So now how we can do that? What is this actually? Control C, this equal to length of, guys, this, which is this, right? Control C, and you can put that. This is actually one style. If you don't want to copy, just control space. You just type cell. It will come this way also. There are multiple ways, guys. Okay. So now we have to run them. See, now we have to understand what actually we want. We have to write a mid function. Understand what I'm doing. String, guys. What is my string? Cell ref. All right. Because every string I have to check. Now start as long. I have to put I have to go by I, and then length always 1, because I have to check every character. Understand this code. If I have to extract all the characters of this, I will tell in my mid function, that, mid function, you will understand that. You can see I is dynamic, but every time it will get me the characters, one length of character. You can see that this is actually 1. So if I write 1, so it just MSG box, guys. You can see this way. Why I'm putting 1 here? You can see 1 means character. If you remove this, and if you see that, if I remove 1, nothing is coming. Alright, you can see that ABC, it is actually looping all the characters, guys. Okay, see that. It is checking all the characters. Okay. So now we have to write over there. There is function called is numeric. Is numeric. Is numeric, of course, because understand mid function gives the result in text, but is numeric function finds out whether it is a number or not. So you can write if is numeric, you can write then, and you can write and if over there. So as I mentioned, that the result will come to rescue where you can store the variable result equal to result ampersand, and you can just write mid function and control space salref. I hope you are following me. And now see, this is actually the result. Guys, understand one thing. The result which is storing all the numbers, I have to assign this to my get number so that it can come in my Excel file wherever I'm using it. Equal to SULT result. So this is the function. So if you just double click this, it is getting all the numbers. How easy is that? So such kind of functions which we have written not available in Excel, and you can see which we have showcased it to you, that your own function you can create your own function, and such functions does not require lengthy coding. It requires only little bit coding, only little math you should know, and some logics, guys. All right. And now I have to tell you something. Maybe in this example, you can see that if I write 1, so 1 is aligned to right, okay, and if I write WER, it is aligned to left. So you can see here in this example, the result is aligned to left, but actually it's a number, so we want this to be aligned to right. So how you can do that? So maybe you can just see, just explore, guys. Multiplied by 1, and if you do that, you can see both the result are aligned to right. So what did we do? Whatever result we got, we multiplied that result by 1, and it has converted into number, guys. All right. So now this is actually what we can do that. And guys, same way, how we can extract, that we write here, how we can extract how we can extract all alphabets or non non-numeric. So in this case, you would, guys, nothing to worry, just write over there not keyword, and now see that what happens. But it will cause an error because we have multiplied that by 1. So you remove that one. So now you see, is the result coming correctly? Yes, result is correct, guys. So it is very easy, guys. You can see this function we have written just to help you. So this is the function. Let me show it to you, guys. And this is my another function. Let me change now here. So if I multiply it by 1, all right, if I remove this keyword, all right, and if I tell over there get only ALPHABEAT alphabets. So guys, understand, get only alphabets, you have to just copy this function, control C, and then over there you have to write this. I hope, guys, you are understanding. Get alphabets means if not is numeric, the result we are assigning. This is actually one function, and this is get number, of course. So if is numeric, it will result everything, get number side by that. There are two functions, guys, we have written. Let me color them so that you can see and practice by yourself, guys. So now this is the two functions. So I hope, guys, you understood this very clearly. And these kind of user-defined functions we can actually build anytime when requirement comes. So let me show you another example where we can actually use our this function, guys. Okay. So VB is missing function. This function actually checks whether the optional value is given or not. If it is given, it will tell true, or if it is not given, it will tell false. All right. So now let me show you an example. See, if you look at this example, we have just tried to do that way, customize date and everything. Let me go to my developer and over here. Let me go to my new module, guys. Okay, how we can do that? How we can do that? As I told you, function, user-defined function, start the function keyword, get your format, FORMAT. Guys, this is actually my function, get your format. Maybe you can do this way, get your format. Okay, get your format. Maybe you can put caps. All right, get your format. What you want to give over there? Optional, optional. What you want? Optional format. CODE, code as integer. See, guys, if You type a date. If you type a date, whatever date is there, so you have to press control 1. Okay, that window will open and you have to format. I think fine. Every time you keep on doing this kind of task in your Excel macro whatever, why can't we make our own function? We can just uh, avoid control 1. We will make one formula. We'll just pass the date and drag the function. It will do the formatting for you. This is a good automation where you can automate control 1. So guys, over here we are automating control 1. See, when guys you think out of the box, when you think something related to your process, if you're working in an office, what else can be automated easily? Where you can effortlessly, put yourself and get something unusual to help the management to understand, unproductive tasks can get you nowhere, but something you can automate. So now this is one example, just glimpse of control 1. By and by, if you get used to such kind of stuff, whatever being covered in this session, you will do by yourself all those things. And this is the basics, guys. I need all of your attention towards this because we have really worked too hard to get you this kind of knowledge in this session. So let's get started. How to get the format of your date. Function get your format optional fmt code as integer. So now what I'm telling you, you can just copy this, control C, and you can write if is is missing, guys. All right, you can see your writing is missing, it is giving this value. You can just see if this missing, then, and as I mentioned, if you write if function more than one line, it has to be closed with and if you write in just single line, and if is not required. But over here we are writing more than one line, so and if is required. If you don't give and if, a formula will give an error. So now see that if is missing fmt code, what you can do that, you can just copy this function, control C, and you can tell over there that what you can do here, format. Format is a function, guys, in VBA. So format, you can say that date. Of course, this date will get you today's date, and then you can see today minus 12. And maybe what you can do this format. If FMT code is not given, it will get you this date, whatever. All right. Now else. Else means if FMT code is given. All right. So what you can see, you can just copy this, control C, and then you can see format. You can just write over there this way. I want DD DDD MMMM MMM YY. So this kind of format. So now how to write that? Get your format. If you just give one, see what we are getting. All right, clear? And now if you remove one, we are getting this. So understand now what is happening now. If see the result. Now you can write equal to get format, get your format. If you just do, you can see this function I'm getting. All right, now understand this function. What is the problem in this function? So now you have to put this, maybe enter that. This result is not getting you the perfect result, guys. So now understand this. Are we doing some wrong thing over there? Function get your format. Again write equal to get your format, guys. Okay, so what actually the function is, it is not working actually properly, because if you just see that, now if is missing, see fmt code you are giving 0. So if it is missing, you can see that if it is missing, guys. Okay, so you can just type if it is missing. Of course it is missing, so that's the result. Now you can press F9. All right, or F8. The result is coming. All right, F8. So if you just click again over there, and if you just put 1, now see what is happening. If it is missing, so now what this code will do, press F8. So if is missing, if is missing fmt code, which is actually 1, it is not missing, so it is coming over there. So in both the scenarios it is coming over there. Let me get into my ppt and show you. If is missing, then customize function, optional format one as variant. So optional format one as format code as variant. Again you type this. See why I'm telling you, I'm teaching you here that how to debug your code, guys. So again you just type this, maybe over there. First you, this is how you can debug your code, guys. Understand, get your format. You just, you see that if we are putting this function, and now see what result we are getting. We are getting correct result. You can see if is missing fmt code. All right, fmt code. So now if you type variant, I'm telling you the logic actually here. variant variant. See what we are doing here. If you do this, missing. Understand that missing. So now if you press F8, guys, okay, you can see the result. Why I'm telling you, if you write integer, okay, if you write integer, actually the thing is that whether you pass the value or not, that value always comes 0. So you have to change your code over there. Maybe this way. If fmt code equal to 0, then this format, else this format. If you make it integer, why I'm telling you that every function has its own, get your own format. Now if you put this way, it is giving 30, but if you pass 1, it will give you this result. You got my point, I think. All right, so you can just see that y. What did we do in our code? This is called debugging, which we taught you today. Y. So now you see, if fmt code is nothing, then it will give you proper date, else it will give you something like that. Okay, so now if you put blank, it give you this date. If you pass 1, it will give you this date. All right, so now my question is that if you put it variant, so if you put it variant, then you can use if is missing. All right, so that thing should always be variant, because if you're telling that. Otherwise, if you declare this as an integer or long, of course if you don't pass the value, it will always be 0. So you have to be very careful. Now you understood that how, you know how, like what how difficult these functions are sometimes when we don't pass correct value. All right, now you see that this function is going very good now, because if you pass 1, it will give you this result. If you don't pass, it will give you this result. All right, so you have to be very careful, guys. I hope you understood and enjoyed the session today, and thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful day.